Today we launched the CIO-Konekt here at the Adapt IT campus. This is an initiative by Konecta, sponsored by Adapt IT in partnership with the Chartered CIO Council of South Africa.
I'm currently the chairperson of the Chartered CIO Council, but I'm also an executive at the City of Johannesburg. So for my sins, I run what we call IT operations, which is everything from assets to cybersecurity to networks to data centers, cloud, end user computing, unified comms, everything except the system of SAP.
This thing has grown from IT operations to IT managers to information systems management to chief technology officers and CIOs, and now we've got CTO making a very strong comeback again. And yet, for some strange reason, the title CIO has survived all of these iterations. Now, one of the things we need to understand is that in today's society, when we look back at a CIO, CIOs used to traditionally be linked to infrastructure, communications, and technology. And it was simple. The guy needed to make sure that there was kit in his data center server room. He's got flashing lights and all the nice things and bells and whistles that goes with it. He needs to make sure that the information that he was looking after was actually two things. It was storage and databases. That was the role of the CIO. And the technology was the various applications or kit that they needed to be able to communicate, to send messages, for people to talk to each other, for data to transfer, for things to happen, and for the operation side of ICT to be in place.
What is missing is sometimes the fundamentals of tech. Fundamentals of tech don't change, regardless of the pace at which it moves. And that is what is causing a panic.
So today I had the privilege of being the program director for CIO-Konekt. It was an event that was thought leadership event. We had CIOs addressing CIO challenges, everything from threat of jobs because of AI to the human element, right? We're seeing CIOs undergo a lot of pressure. We're seeing CIOs expected to perform miracles in terms of technology adoption. And so we unpacked a number of topics.
Just by a show of hands, how many people in the room believe that the ICT sector is one of the biggest contributors to our GDP in South Africa today? My argument is that it's probably one of the biggest contributors to our GDP. However, because we don't measure it accurately, we really don't have true visibility to how it contributes to our GDP. But if you think about it logically, think about there is no business today that can exist without ICT. There is no industry today that exists without ICT. So ICT is the only enabler to each and every industry in the country today. And interestingly enough, a few decades ago, the mining sector was 50% of our GDP. Last year, it was down to only 6%. But the perception in our minds that mining is so critical, it contributes to our GDP quite significantly. It's because of that narrative that we have from the legacy. In ICT, based on the examples that I've just given you, is the only sector that enables each and every industry, each and every business.
Today's theme was empowering leadership within CIOs. CIOs now play a very critical role in the organization. And these are conversations that we need to have and that we will be having, just to amplify the role of the CIOs and also just to give them a support and a network where they can actually tap into.
I think a big part of this MVNE, which is I learned today, and then whether it's an MVNE, an enabling conversation that you're talking about, an MVNO, an operating conversation, it really is about creating value and building bottom line if you're going to think pragmatically, but it's also about looking at roles like the CIO role as not just a stewardship role, but perhaps a value creation and a bottom line building role?
So if you look at AI, for example, there's so much of AI that's already being used today. We are a lot more productive, we're a lot more efficient, it takes us a lot less time.
Are you seeing that track in your data center volumes?
I'm seeing that already. We have a AI-enabled data center. However, the concern that we should have, or perhaps the question that we should answer ourselves is, what is the role of mankind in this AI-driven world?
There's so much in the digital transformation, there is so much innovation happening, and CIOs are playing a very critical role. So it is important to now elevate and empower CIOs. We had great speakers that talked about self-mastery, leadership. We had CIOs that shared their own journeys through the different work that they've done.
So in this world of, I want to call it digital fluency and constant change, it really, self-mastery becomes not something that's optional for you, but something that you absolutely have to pay attention to. Something that you have to have a deliberate strategy around. Lead visibly, lead authentically, and lead with mastery. Mastery comes from using tools, understanding the dimensions of self-mastery, using tools to implement that. And so when you lead visibly, authentically, and with mastery, you really are a powerful executive in your organizations.
So Konecta is part of our ESD program. We do have an ESD program that I oversee, which is Enterprise Applied Development. It is part of our CSI initiatives. When you think of an ESD program, the intention really is to empower small businesses and see them grow, right? And I think we enrolled Konecta last year, if I'm correct. And I had sessions with Yandisa. She said a vision around what she wants to do with Konecta and how she wants to grow it. So when she presented this idea of a CIO-Konect event, for me, it resonated with her vision, but at the same time, it also resonates with our vision, which is around building proximity with senior leaders in the industry.
What we're starting to see as a trend, especially from a Microsoft perspective, is that our customers are starting to look at technology not as just a tool, but a transformational tool.
So how does Microsoft push the empowerment of businesses? What we have a bunch of ways that we push empowerment in businesses. Microsoft is a partner-led organization, and as part of our strategy, what we do is that we empower partners from early stage to when they grow. Now, we've got a bunch of different programs that we do have, where one, we have an EPP program, right? And it's mainly for emerging Black partners that want to build a business out of utilizing Microsoft technologies. So to give an example, we've got partners like Konecta, for instance, who are part of this program, where we enhance them and fund them to actually get the skilling and over and above that, access to customers through our program.
I think the biggest thing about Microsoft is that it is an open ecosystem community. We really partner with everyone and we make it available for everyone to come partner with us. How we work from an ecosystem layer is that we look at it from how do we enable and become an advisor for customers and bring the right people along with us.
Yes, it makes us more efficient, but the question which goes back to what I spoke about earlier, what is the human side of it?
The people aspect was one of the biggest conversations that we've had. How do you bring the people in the journey of digital transformation, which is very critical and a very important topic to discuss, because it is 90% people and 10% technology.
I think we need to unlearn the way we've been doing business. In the next 5 years, I say AI is going to run the companies. You'll find companies, startups will be run by 3 people, and that's all they're going to need. So we need to be aware. Business is changing, the way we're doing business is changing. But what's not going to change is the human aspect, and we need to go back to that. where we go back to self. That's why we had self-mastery, so that you can understand, instead of being threatened by technology, how do I use that technology?
If you're not aggressively wanting to understand AI and the use of it, you will be left behind much faster.
The only thing I can say to guys is that there's one thing you need to understand about AI. AI will never be successful if you don't implement it bi-directionally.
So this is a beginning, and we will be having more of these sessions. So please do look out for the next ones in the next coming months. And also we just want to say thank you to our partners, Adapt IT. And as Konecta, we are part of the Adapt IT Enterprise and Supplier Development Program, which really is empowering us. And what is beautiful is the ability to co-create and work together. You know, the role of corporate, bringing up smaller entities and being able to co-create solutions and being able to give us a platform and access to market, as well as one of the many things that they are providing through this program. So it's really good to see a company that does ESD and not just a tick box exercise. It's, we're looking forward to a long and fruitful journey, as Adapt is a key partner in the CIO-Konekt programs. And yes, thank you very much.